Welcome to another edition of Joy Business Special, and today we are privileged to be speaking to an important personality, a man who has devoted his time to help us build the nation Ghana. And he is the chairman of Ibis Tech. Ibis Tech is the company undertaking the Takoradi Port Expansion Project. The Takoradi Port will also be able to contain the huge ships that you see in Tema. That is where you also have a lot of containers that will be coming in. But then the question is, how did they conceive this idea? Did they even think they'll be able to do it? He's going to be able to tell us the story and then let us understand what are the timelines for the project, when it will be completed, so we can increase, work, or would I say, whatever happens in Tema Port, we would see also that happening in Takoradi Port. And the person I'm speaking to is lawyer Kwame Jan. He's well known in our country, Ghana, when it comes to land issues. So you'll say that he's the land lawyer. But today we are talking port business. Thank you very much, lawyer, for joining us on Joy Business Special.
Thank you very much too. I'm privileged to have you.
Well, I think I'm proud as a Ghanaian, knowing that there's a Ghanaian company that can undertake this port expansion project in Takoradi. But let me ask that, how did you conceive this idea?
The idea of Ibis Tech getting into port development was conceived by two gentlemen. This was before I became a member of Ibis Tech. The gentlemen are Nanaya Abuahine and Mr. Eric Oridua Kofi. These two gentlemen started Ibis Tech in 2005, and around March of 2015 they conceived the idea of going into port business, and they brought me on board. As you already said, I'm a landman, so I was brought on board to help acquire the land for the development of an off-dock container terminal in Takoradi. The off-dock container terminal is simply a designated area which legally is an extension of a port, where containers that arrive in the port or containers that are bound for the port for shipment are packed, and where they are import containers, they are divined. So the containers are opened and their contents are stripped and loaded onto trucks, or the entire containers are taken out and later the empties are brought back. So it's a kind of extension of the port, not at waterfront, but at an off-site, away from water location. So I came on board to help develop that facility, which was actually developed and commissioned in April 2017. And GPHA, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, offered an opportunity to Ibis Tech, that once Ibis Tech has demonstrated capacity to do the off-dock development, they were given the option of coming to participate in the development of the waterfront, which is the port expansion project proper at the port of Takoradi. So that's how come we got in. So we started from land side, and then moved to the waterfront.
And you say that the land side, as we speak, was commissioned in 2017?
Yes, 2017 April.
And so it's in operation as we speak?
It's in operation. All the containers that come to the port of Takoradi are moved there quickly.
I see. So when you look at Takoradi Port as of today, when you look at the total number of containers that come in there in a year, how much are we looking at?
We are looking at about 60,000 units of container every year. But that's because of a couple of deficiencies in Takoradi. Takoradi was built in 1928 by Governor Gorgesberg as an export port, predominantly to export raw materials, timber, the bauxite, the aluminium, manganese,
and all
of that. And over the years, at the time they built Takoradi, the berth or the draft was 9.6 meters. For a port which was constructed in 1928, 9.6 meters of draft was a good draft.
Okay.
Because of the vessels that were available at the time. But over the years, almost 100 years.
Okay, yeah.
1928.
1928.
So
okay.
in 2028, Takoradi Port would have been 100 years.
100 years, okay.
Now, the ship size and diameter in 1928 versus now, everything has changed. So the port over the years has become very inefficient. So it is not able to attract larger vessels.
Okay.
And the larger vessels prefer to either go to Lomé or Tema, because Tema, even prior to this expansion at MPS with Terminal 3, Tema was 11.6 meters of draft as against 9.6. So you had a difference of about 2 meters.
2 meters, yeah.
And it was significant. So the bigger vessels will come to Tema. Even though most of them are coming from the West Coast, they go beyond Takoradi, past Takoradi, and dock at Tema. And the cargo that is bound for Takoradi is offloaded onto smaller vessels and brought back to Takoradi, or by road haulage to Takoradi.
Wow. But before I move on, lawyer, I know that there's WAF or a jetty for oil that was also rebuilt. Was that also done by your team?
Yes. Ibis Tech has a concession area of 61 hectares.
Okay.
Now, the concession area of 61 hectares is no land. It's all water, sea. It's part of the Harbour Basin.
Wow.
We are reclaiming that whole 61 hectares, turning it into land, paving the surface.
Wow.
So it's not like there is some land. Yes, we are reclaiming land from the sea.
That's going to be a lot of work.
61 hectares. So I'm just trying to make it clearer.
Yeah.
And a hectare is 2.5 acres.
Acres, yes.
So 61 hectares is 2.5 acres times 61.
Yes.
And an acre is the inner perimeter of a football field.
Yes.
So you are talking about 61 times 2.5 football fields.
Yes.
Within this concession area, it's an old jetty. This jetty is the facility where vessels which carry petroleum products and diesel and petrol and so on, bitumen, to Takoradi. That's where the vessels dock and discharge their contents, and the contents go through pipelines. But this old jetty is up to minus 8.4 meters of draft. So only vessels with carrying capacity of about 20,000 tons can go to Takoradi.
That's small.
Yes. Now, and they built this thing close to 100 years ago. So you should understand.
For many years, we've not been able to do any innovations or build new ones.
The time wasn't ripe. They were waiting for Ibis Tech.
Okay, I get it now.
So the existing jetty sits in our concession area. And that area is going to be affected by reclamation.
Okay.
So whilst we were looking for the funding to do the container and multipurpose terminal, and before the commencement of dredging, we partnered with GPHA to build a brand new jetty for petroleum products in the port of Takoradi. You should go and see what we have done.
I see.
This jetty is the biggest and the most modern oil jetty in the whole of West Africa.
I see.
And it is on a draft of minus 14 meters.
Yeah.
So what it means is vessels that are carrying probably up to 80,000 tons of petroleum products can dock in the new oil jetty in Takoradi, which becomes partly operational by 1st of October this year. Now, it shows you what Ghanaians can do for this country. And Ibis Tech is owned 100% by Ghanaians. And you'll be surprised. These are normal Ghanaians, normal people who, unassuming, you wouldn't even notice that these are the Ibis Tech people.
Now, let's come to the project itself. Let's look at what are the timelines that you have. I mean, currently, where are we? Let's start from there. Okay. Where are we as far as the project is concerned?
Currently, where we are is that all the designs have been done.
Yeah.
And last Friday, just a week today,
yeah,
the first block for the construction of the quay wall was cast in Takoradi. It was a memorable day. I left that place with a very light body because I felt I had loads of problems, tons of stress on my neck. But leaving Takoradi on that Friday, I felt so relieved. I realized that from that day, I was convinced that this project has been delivered. Because once you cast the first block, you know that you have started. These blocks we are talking about are not normal blocks. Okay. These are blocks that weigh 50 tons each.
I see.
It's a big project which will run for the next 6 years.
Okay.
So we are doing it in phases.
How many phases are we looking at?
We're doing 2 phases.
2 phases, okay.
Phase 1 is seeking to make 600 meters of quay wall available within the next 24 months.
Okay.
In fact, we have told the contractor that by September 2020, he should make us use part of the quay. So from September 2020, the vessels we call the post-Panamax.
Okay.
Yeah, these are vessels which are 360 meters long and with a width of 54 meters. They can come to Takoradi. They can carry up to 19,000 containers each. They can come to Takoradi.
So in terms of tonnage, what will it be?
I can't say in tonnage, but you are talking about 20-footer containers.
Oh, 20-footer containers.
19,000 of them.
That's
on
huge.
one vessel.
That's huge.
Sailing to a port in this country, in Takoradi. And the port is a Ghanaian port, built, owned, and operated by Ghanaians.
I see.
So we certainly should finish the first 600 meters, which is phase 1, maximum 24 months. And then we'll continue the rest of the quay length. And we expect that by 5 years from now, we would have done the entire quay length of 700 plus 790 meters of quay wall.
Okay, well.
Then that will bring the port expansion project to its logical conclusion. But within 24 months, the facility will be available for use.
If at the moment, a year, we're doing some 55,000, when you are done with your first phase, how many are you looking at?
At the commissioning on Friday, the director of Takoradi Port said he's anticipating that within the first year of commissioning, so within the year 2021, we should be doing about 200,000 containers in 2021, and it should only get better going forward. We think that by between 7 and 10 years from commissioning, we should be doing more than 700,000 containers.
7,000 containers?
Yes, because a couple of years back, Tema was doing 300,000. And when they were doing the expansion of Tema, all the development partners said it was not viable because they won't get the containers. At that time, Tema was doing 150 and then got to 300,000. Now Tema has crossed 1 million per annum.
I see, let's look at the numbers in terms of employment. Most of these jobs they create employment. Construction stage, you have huge numbers of people working, but then when they are completed, then you are now looking at, okay, who are the main people that have to be working there? What are the numbers looking like in terms of creating employment right from now when the first phase would be completed?
Look at construction.
Yes.
The contractor has disclosed to us that during this phase, he is going to hire the contractor, which is the EPC contractor who is doing the marine works.
Also a Ghanaian?
No, JoyNews. We went through an international competitive bidding. Okay. And the bidding was conducted by Royal Hanskoning, who are the engineers for Ibis Tech. Very reputable, globally recognized marine consultants from the Netherlands. They are the owner's engineers. They conducted the bidding, selected JoyNews as the best bid, and in fact, they were the best bid. So JoyNews is the contractor dealing with the marine side. Because the works we have the marine works and the land side works. The marine works are being done predominantly by JoyNews, but the land side works are all local content. They will be done only by Ghanaian contractors. So JoyNews at the waterfront is talking about 350 permanent jobs. Wow. And well paid.
Well paid.
Not just
well
permanent,
underlined,
but well. They're well in capitals and underlined.
well paid.
Well paid.
Good enough to go home and look after the family.
Go home and tell your family that you are working.
Okay.
350 Ghanaians. These are the direct jobs at the waterfront. But Jandinu is buying materials, they're buying quarry products, they're buying cement, they're buying diesels, they're buying things. And these things are being bought from Ghanaians. So let's assume they are buying quarry materials, boulders, crushed aggregates. These are being crushed in different locations by Ghanaians. And we have not done the figures on the indirect jobs, but I can tell you, we are putting in phase one, we are putting in $200 million US in this phase one.
Just phase one.
So if you put in $200 million in a port construction, the impact on the local and the national economy is significant.
I see. I mean, what's the total for the whole project? If the phase one,
$475 million.
$475 million dollars
for phase 1 and 2. The contractor is using about 90,000 liters of diesel every week.
Wow.
That alone is also coming from Ghanaian sources. The beauty of this is there are no foreigners involved apart from the ones we are borrowing from. So once the lenders have been paid, no repatriation of profits. Everything stays here because the owners are Ghanaians. It's GPHA and Ibis Tech.
Let me put this question to you. The business environment in this country, how do you see it? Even before we move on.
It's not easy to do business in Ghana, especially if you're a Ghanaian.
Why do you
Our
say
people don't like to give Ghanaians the opportunity. I tell you, this project, I am so proud to say this. There are some names I have to mention, I tell you. But for them, there would not be any Ibis Tech Takoradi Port Expansion project. These are the people who believed in us as Ghanaians. The President of the Republic of Ghana himself, he believed in us. He told his team that they should believe in us, that we can deliver this project. His Vice President, His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, he stood by our side, shoulder to shoulder. The Chairman of the Council of State, Dasebre Otosribo, the Gabene, do my heart. The Minister for Transport, Honorable Fourier Sema, he's a man of courage. He believes in the Ghanaian dream. He stood up against all the odds that were against this project. He said he would put his job on the line for us and that he knew we will not disappoint. I mean, Paul Ansa, then the Director General of GPHA.
Okay, so let me quickly move you to what comes with this project, because we're seeing, yes, a lot of the times, like we've seen in the mining sector, these people are mining, roads that leads to the site is a problem. And road construction, or the better routes that we need for your work to go on, is one of the things that people think about in this country. And the area you are in, I remember the last time I was in Takoradi, some of the roads to the port area. I mean, if you're coming from Sekefua Bantam and then you're moving to the port area, some of the side routes, especially through the naval base, I don't know what has happened to it, if now all those routes have been reconstructed and it's better as of now. I mean, what are the side things? I mean, you know the plan very well. You can tell us that, okay, we're not just building a port, we're doing this, we're doing that. What are the other things that you're doing with it?
One of the things we are keen about is the road infrastructure within the vicinity of our operational area.
Okay.
See where the container terminal is, which is the off-dock facility, the one between the Fianquanta and the City Express service yard.
Yeah.
There is one main road from Park Grant towards the hospital. We did a bypass, a side road in front of the container terminal to ease traffic, but that is not enough. We have a plan to do something else to augment the road network. We have already constructed with pavement blocks the road from Park Grant roundabout through New Takoradi to gate 10 inside the port.
Going around where Gassam is?
Yes, to almost to where Gassam is. Now you'll be surprised, these guys have been operating there in the port since 1968. They never did the road. We are just the freshest entrance. We have done that road. And I am privileged to inform you that we had the privilege of having His Excellency the President to come and commission that road. He was full of admiration.
That was last year?
Yes, because he told us that he campaigned on using that road in the 2016 election. He saw it and the state of the road. Within 2 years when he came back, it was smooth with pavement blocks, courtesy Ibis Tech. Now we are going to do another road from New Takoradi along the rail line.
Okay.
To join the road between the container terminal and Western Customs.
Okay.
You see WVLC and Western Customs.
Yes.
That road where it takes you to where Blue Ocean and Co have their tank farms.
Yes.
So we are doing a dedicated line from New Takoradi to enter WVLC, the back of WVLC, to ease the traffic from Park Grant on the Fiankwanta Hospital Road. Now what that means is that in the next 2 years, container numbers coming to the off-dock site would
increase,
kind of quadruple. Now we don't want to burden the Fiankwanta Hospital Road with these traffic numbers. So we are doing a dedicated route into the container terminal from the port. So containers that are coming to Takotel, which is the Takoradi container terminal, wouldn't have to use the Fiankwanta road. They will use their dedicated route. But what we have done is that road, even though it will be dedicated for us with locks, during peak hours, we will open it and give access to the general public to ease the traffic. So they also have the benefit of the use of that road.
So somebody may ask that, I mean, Takotel, if you're going ahead with this expansion project, I mean, what would be the use of Takotel as a terminal when you have a huge facility like this at the port?
The 61 hectares you are talking about, we are going to use part of the land to build warehouses to support transit trade.
Okay.
The goods that will be moved from the port of Takoradi to the landlocked states, some would be rice, flour.
So bonded warehouses.
Yes. So you have to use large amounts of land to build these bonded warehouses. And you should also not lose sight of the fact that the economy is growing. And it is also the policy of GPHA not to allow divining of containers to happen inside the ports. You know, the problem is you bring too many people to the port at the same time. You can imagine all the people who are coming to clear their goods, moving to the ports, and cranes everywhere, and human beings moving under cranes, going to take their containers and their bags and things, you know. So you reduce human traffic to the port by taking the containers to the off-site facility, and it doesn't really bring any additional costs.
Okay.
But it frees up space inside the terminal at the port area so that your customers will meet you not inside the port, but for transit cargo, they will be managed inside the port proper at the waterfront.
At the waterfront?
Yes, but not at Takotel. Because you see, if you move transit cargo to Takotel, that becomes double handling.
Yeah.
And you want to make Takoradi very attractive. So you have to provide a platform for this transit cargo. Because if you can get cargo from Burkina, Mali, and Niger, if you get half of their cargo through Takoradi, you are in business.
I want you to walk us through the kind of facilities we'll be seeing at this new port in Takoradi. You talked about the cranes. Yes, we've seen some kind of cranes even in Tama Port. I mean, is this the state-of-the-art one, the automatic ones,
fact, yes.
The ones that people don't have to sit on anything to operate, but
no,
then computers?
We are not going to do the one you saw in Dubai Port.
I see.
Earlier, when you were having the chat with me, you talked about what you saw in Dubai Port.
Yes.
We've gone to see those. We will not use them here.
Which ones do you want to bring in?
You see, what you have in Dubai Port is the cranes are standing there. They are not manned by humans.
Humans, yes.
3 people are in some basement controlling these things by computer.
I think we have the same thing in Tema now.
You have high degree of automation, but human beings are part of it.
All right, so at any point in time, how many ships can dock at this new port?
Now, at this new port, if you bring vessels that are 250 meters, which are the biggest that come to Ghana at this time.
Okay.
They are the biggest.
Okay.
So far, we have not seen a 360-meter vessel come into this part of the world yet.
Are you hoping to bring that?
We are building the facility to accommodate them.
Okay.
You see, look at Gordonsburg. He built his in 1928. It has served us to now. So what we are building now should serve us for the next 100 years. So we are looking at what will happen to the ships in the next 100 years. And we are saying, if you bring a 360-meter vessel to Ghana, maybe it will be in the next 10 years. But this facility can accommodate them. So now if you bring a 250-meter, which is the biggest that will come here at this stage, you have 2 cool vessels sitting there at the same time. Cool. 250-meter vessels. Plus space left.
Okay.
So we have 2 berths based on the size of the vessel. If the vessels are 180 meters, 200 meters, you can have 3 at the same time.
Okay. Who will be able to?
We have planned for the state-of-the-art vessels that are currently in operation.
When a ship comes and berth, how long would it take you to clear the containers on it so it can move?
It depends on what the number, but I can assure you.
Because it also has to do with your cranes and everything that you'll be using to move these things.
Cargo owners tell us that a vessel makes money when it is at sea. Vessels spend money when they are in port. So when a vessel is sitting at the port, there's something called port dues. Port dues, yeah.
And they don't like it.
They don't like it. So the earlier you can offload their cargo and load them up and they leave the port, the better. So this is what we and GPHA have already started talking about. The efficiency of the port to make it attractive and competitive. Because we have Lomé, we have San Pedro, we have Abidjan, we have Tema. And yes, we all have to make some money. So if your port is inefficient, you lose cargo. Vessels wouldn't come. So we are trying to put in place very efficient operating systems.
Okay.
We are in the process of discussing with some of the biggest lines about allowing them to have Takoradi as their hub. And we are also looking at the possibility of partnering with the best operating firms. Plus, at the same time, creating our own operating wing. We have an operating wing called Atlantic Terminal Services Limited, ATSL.
Okay.
So that port will be called Atlantic ATSL.
Okay.
Like MPS in Tema.
Okay.
So Takoradi will be called ATSL.
ATSL.
Or ATS.
Okay.
Atlantic Terminal. So Atlantic Terminal will start building its own capacity to manage ports. And the plan is, in the next couple of years, we should be going to a place like Liberia, managing their port, go to Sierra Leone, managing their port. We should move away from Ghana to other countries and manage their ports there and make money from there and bring the money home to be taxed by Ghana.
I see.
I always believe that this is one of the ways in which Ghana Beyond Aid can be achieved. Ghanaians should make money from abroad and bring it here.
Thank you very much, Lawyer.
It's a privilege.
For speaking to me. Okay, so you've been listening to the chairman of Ibis Tech and the plans they have as a company. This has been the Joy Business Special. We hope that we have informed you, we've educated you. Let's all keep an eye on this project because we are going to be keeping an eye on it. We will bring you all the latest news that will be happening around this particular project, all the updates that you need. It's a Ghanaian project. We believe in Ghana. And thank you very much for watching. We'll come your way again with another Joy Business Special. Until then, my name is Novan Akwaheford. Have a good day.